Look at me, Laurel. It was never going to work.
I can explain.
Save it for the officers.
My wife set me up like I was a lab rat. That is not an insult. That is not me being dramatic. That is a statement of fact. She baited me, watched me, collected reactions, and planned to use them in front of an audience later. Data. That's what I was to her by that point. Data. What she did not plan for was that rats bite. My wife orchestrated a meeting with her ex-lover at a bar to test my ability to stay calm and unjealous. She spent an hour belittling me while he chuckled, then declared she still sleeps with him and I should be mature about it. That's the preview. The headline. That's the thing you tell a lawyer or a cop or your sister. But that is not the story. The story starts in the blue light of that bar and ends under different blue lights, and in between is 4 days, where I learned what people will do to your face when they think you are too polite to stop them. My name is Ethan Cole. I am not a hero. I am not the good guy. I am not a victim. I'm the one who walked out. And this is how I burned them down. The place was called Harlow's. Kind of bar where the whiskey menu has a leather cover and the bartender wears a vest like we're all pretending prohibition is back. The booths are high-backed and dim, which makes it look classy, and also just happens to make cell phone videos clear if you lean at the right angle. I didn't understand that part yet. I would. Laurel said it was just drinks with an old friend. She said it light and casual, like we were adults, like she wasn't smiling too hard when she said it. I should have known. When Laurel sounds casual, she is loading the gun. We walked in, and she led me straight to him. Tyler was already sitting there with 2 empty glasses, and that posture guys get when they believe they're impressive. One shoulder back, one arm stretched across the top of the booth, hand on the leather like he owned the furniture. He didn't stand up to greet me. He did not offer his hand. He just looked at me, then looked at Laurel, then looked at me again and smirked. There are a lot of kinds of guys in the world. Tyler is the kind who talks about mindset like it's a protein shake. He was wearing a tight black Henley to show off arms he definitely wants you to ask about, with a watch that costs too much for a guy who spot trains middle-aged real estate agents. Dark beard, careful fade, eyes that never stayed in one place longer than 3 seconds because 3 seconds is when you start thinking instead of posing. Laurel slid into the booth next to him. Not opposite. Next to. "Hey, babe," she said to Tyler, like I wasn't even standing there. And then, like she was tossing me a bone, she looked up at me and said, "Ethan, you remember Tyler from college?" I said, "Never met him." Tyler grinned. "We didn't exactly overlap, man," he said. "But I heard a lot." Laurel laughed. "Oh my God, don't embarrass me." And then they both laughed. I sat down across from them. I didn't say a thing for a good 30 seconds. I figured if everyone else was allowed to observe, take notes, build a file, so was I. Here's what I saw. Tyler already had his knee up against Laurel's, under the table. Not moving away when I sat down. In fact, pressing in a little harder. He'd shaved his hands. No hair on the backs. That tells you exactly how much he expects to be touched, and by who. There was a faint red rub mark under his jaw, where a beard line had been cleaned up too fast with a cheap blade. He wanted to look sharp for tonight. He'd prepared. Laurel had done her hair in that loose wave she only did for dates. Her eyes were alert. Her smile was wide. She was riding adrenaline. She was also scanning. Not the way women scan for exits. The way PR directors scan for witnesses. Laurel works in communications at the local hospital. She doesn't call it PR because that sounds cheap, like lip gloss and hashtags. Strategic communications, she says. She writes statements. She puts out fires. She is always thinking in terms of, what would this look like in an email if it got leaked? I told you, I was data. Tyler raised his glass at me. "You good if I grab her another drink?" he said. "Classic margarita. She said you don't mind." Laurel tilted her head and said, "He doesn't." She didn't look at me when she said that. She looked at him. That was the first cut. Small, meant to look harmless, like teasing. She knew I wouldn't make a scene about a drink, and that was the point. She was building. Ethan is calm. Ethan is normal. Ethan is reasonable. Ethan gave consent. It matters later. Yeah, I said, and smiled. Why would I mind watching a grown man order tequila at a place that sells $9 water? Laurel rolled her eyes. Tyler gave me that grin guys give right before they say, bro. All right, he said. I'll be right back. He slid out of the booth and hit the bar. She watched him go. Then she turned to me, and her whole face changed. There are women who cry pretty. There are women who fight pretty. My wife had a face she kept just for cutting me down, and she didn't even hide that it existed. She only hid when she used it. Her voice dropped. You are going to behave tonight, she said. Am I? You are. And if I don't, what happens? I said. I need witnesses, she said. That fast, that clean. Not, this is sensitive, not please don't blow up, not I want us to work, no, I need witnesses. That's when the alarm should have started screaming in my head. Instead, I only heard it faint, like a store sensor beep when someone steals gum. Mild annoyance. My mistake. I leaned back. Witnesses for what? I said. For your jealousy spiral, she said, so soft it didn't even move her lips. Tyler came back with the drinks. Laurel's face flipped back to bright. It is a sick thing to watch a person swap masks so fast you can feel the air move. Okay, she said loudly, with a little laugh. So, anyway, we were talking about how different you guys are. We were not. But now we were. Tyler put Laurel's margarita by her hand and kept his hand there on the table, his fingers close to hers, not quite touching. I noticed the way she let hers drift until her pinky tapped his knuckle. And I said, Laurel went on, Ethan is... What did I call you, honey? I said nothing. She looked at Tyler. Safe. He's safe. He's the safe choice. He's like the Volvo of men. Tyler choked, laughing. I smiled. This part is important, so I'm going to make it boring on purpose. I want it to stick. For the next hour, Laurel said things out loud I did not know she was capable of saying in front of me. She laughed about my salary like it was a cute hobby. She said I was comfortable, steady, predictable, the kind of man who will always pay the electric bill and ask permission before touching your thigh. She said I wasn't ambitious, not like Tyler, who just has that fire. She said couples therapy had helped her accept Ethan's limitations. And Tyler leaned back and gave these little chuckles, like a studio laugh track. Sometimes he'd do the fake humble thing. Hey, come on, don't compare us, he'd say, which always sounds like, please compare us more. He asked me if I work out. Not, where do you lift? Not, what are you doing lately? Just, do you work out? A yes-no question, dressed up as small talk, designed to put you in the no lane. At one point, Laurel said in a casual tone that could have been used for pass the salt, I told you about how we hooked up in August, right? Tyler tried not to grin. He failed. I looked at her. No, I said quietly. You did not, Laurel. She widened her eyes like she was surprised. Babe, yes I did. I would remember that. I told you we were reconnecting. I told you we had chemistry. Tyler, help me. Tyler put both palms up. Hey man, I'm not here to cause problems, he said. This is about being honest. No secrets. That's what she said you needed to work on. I watched his mouth move. I watched his hand slide higher on her thigh under the table. I watched Laurel watch me watch him do it, and I smiled. This is where most stories like this go loud. This is where the husband flips the table, swings, gets dragged out by bouncers while everybody in the bar is some kind of expert witness. That is not what I did. I looked down at the table. I looked at the condensation ring under my glass, and in that exact moment, something in my head did a soft click. I wasn't mad. I was awake. I said, "Yeah, totally. I'm good." Laurel froze. She had expected tears, rage, begging, pleading, something she could sell later. "Do you see what I have to live with?" she would say. "Do you see how unpredictable and jealous he is?" Instead, what she got was me, smiling. "It's fine," I said. "Really. You guys should keep talking. This is all very grown." Tyler sat back. He didn't like that. Men like him want your anger so they can call you crazy. They do not know where to put you when you stay seated, smiling, and take notes. I pulled out my phone. Laurel flinched at that. She tried to make it look like a laugh, but her shoulders went tight. "Relax," I said. "Just texting Mara." Mara is my sister. She works night shift on dispatch. She's heard screaming, sobbing, gunshots, men begging someone to say they love them. She doesn't scare easy. She's also one of the last people Laurel wants looped in on anything. Laurel swallowed. "Oh my God, Ethan, put your phone away. That's so rude," she said loud enough for the booth behind us to hear. Then she leaned in and whispered through her teeth. "If you start something tonight, I swear to God, I will tell them all what you're like at home." There it was, the first time I saw the shape of the knife. At home. Not tonight. Not here. Not you. At home. She was not trying to win a fight at a bar. She was rehearsing a case. "Relax," I whispered back, real soft. "I'm just checking something." Tyler leaned toward her. "You good?" he said. Laurel gave him a smile. "I'm fine," she said. "He's fine. We're fine." I texted Mara. Hypothetically, if I needed to scare some guy without going to jail, what should I absolutely not do? She texted back in under 10 seconds. Jesus, Ethan. What did Laurel do now? That was step 1. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. We left Harlow's around 10:15. The rain had moved in that misty way it does in coastal Maine after a hot day, where the air goes cold and you can taste salt and metal. Laurel strutted to the car like she was on a catwalk. She liked that dress. Red, low back. Something that said, "I still have it," in a way she could pretend was a joke, but was not a joke. The first 30 seconds of the drive were quiet. Wipers going. Road hum. Light rain ticking on the glass. Then she exhaled in that dramatic way people do when they want you to ask what's wrong, and she said, So, I said. "You did okay," she said. My knuckles tightened on the wheel, but only for me. "Okay," I said. "I mean, for you," she went on. "You didn't make a giant scene. You didn't insult him or call me names. That was good. You stayed measured. I appreciate that." Measured. "You appreciate that," I said. "I do," she said. "It shows growth." "Growth," I said. "Ethan, don't mock this," she said sharply. "I was trying to help you. I was trying to show you that we can all coexist without you melting down every time I talk to a man who is a little more ambitious than you. A little more ambitious than you. That's how Laurel does it. She never says better. She says more. A little more fit. A little more confident. A little more ambitious. It sounds softer, but what it means is you are less. Pretty words for subtraction. I watched the road. I did not look at her. "Also," she said, like she was sliding in a coupon code, "it was good for you to hear about me and Tyler in a healthy environment instead of you just building up stories in your head." I said, "Healthy." "I'm serious, Ethan," she said. "This is adult life, okay? People have history. People have needs. You can't make me responsible for your insecurity every time I reconnect with someone." "Reconnected in August," I said. Laurel flicked her eyes at me. She hadn't expected me to repeat it like evidence. "Oh my God, are you really stuck there?" she said. "I told you. We hooked up, and it helped me see what I'm missing. You can't get mad at me for needing to feel desired." "No," I said. "You're busy." She made a disgusted sound. See, this is exactly what I meant, she said. I am trying so hard to have a rational conversation and you go petty. It's always, I can't believe you did this to me. Do you ever stop to ask what you did to make it happen in the first place? I drove. I didn't answer. Because if I answered, we'd be where she wanted us to be. Me upset, me loud, me reactive. That was her win condition. She wanted tape. I glanced left. Her phone was face down on her thigh, angled slightly toward me. Laurel never puts her phone face down. She doesn't like fingerprints on the screen. Tonight, it's face down with the camera toward me. Come on. Turn the phone off, Laurel, I said quietly. She flinched, then recovered, then rolled her eyes. Oh my God, she said. Paranoid much? Turn it off, I said. I'm not doing this, she said. Her voice was louder now. I'm not playing your little control game where I have to prove I'm not tricking you. That's abuse, Ethan. That is literally abuse. Abuse. She had her script, and she had practiced. I reached over, took the phone, and pressed the lock button. Laurel gasped like I'd hit her. Do not touch my property, she said sharp. Do not ever touch my property again. Call the cops, I said. Her mouth hung open for a second. What? She said. Call the cops, I said again. Tell them your husband touched your iPhone after you admitted, in front of witnesses, that you're still sleeping with your ex. I'll wait. Put them on speaker. She stared at me. Her face flickered. Anger, then fear, then calculation. You are so immature, she said finally, voice cold. You are actually scaring me right now. There it was again. Scaring, unstable, abusive. Words that live well in court transcripts. Thing about Laurel. She thinks in headlines. She was already building hers. Local woman survives controlling husband. Co-workers stunned. I love how you're playing this, I said. This, she said. You're good at it, I said. I'll give you that. Playing what, Ethan? She snapped. Being honest about how unhappy I am? No, I said. Building your exit package. Silence. The wipers squeaked. The rain hissed. She laughed, one sharp sound. You always think you're smarter than you are, she said. Then tell me I'm wrong, I said. I don't owe you that, she said. Which is Laurel code for you nailed it. We got home. Our house is a gray cape a half-mile off the bay. I do project management and estimating for a mid-size renovation company. Which means on paper I'm not impressive. But in real life, I know every support beam in every office within 20 miles. I know which doors don't close right. I know which locks stick. I know how to make a fancy condo sound like a haunted house at 2 a.m. without leaving a mark. We walked in through the mudroom. Laurel tossed her purse on the bench, kicked off her heels, and went straight for the kitchen island like it was her stage. She leaned on the marble, the way she does in photos when she wants to look like a lifestyle blog. Bare feet, red dress, wine glass, that thing. Okay, she said. Let's talk like adults because this is getting stupid. Let's, I said. I've been thinking, she said. I can tell, I said. She glared. I've been thinking, she said again, and I don't think this is working anymore. There it was. The phrase every married person keeps stored in a dark box in the back of their head like an emergency flare. I don't think this is working anymore. You never hear it on a good day. Define this, I said. You and me, she said, like I was slow. Obviously, you and me, this, the constant tension, the way you make me feel like I'm wrong just for being alive in my own house, the way you can't handle me having other people in my life. It's not healthy. My therapist says it's not sustainable. She actually told me this morning that I'm doing emotional labor for 2 grown adults, and I'm exhausted. Your therapist met me once, I said. She didn't have to meet you to know the type, she snapped. I leaned against the fridge. I kept my face calm. My pulse was doing a drumline in my neck, but I didn't show it. I didn't give her anything she could call unpredictable. Okay, I said. So what's your plan? She blinked. She hadn't expected me to ask that like we were in a budget meeting. My plan, she said. Yeah, I said. What's next, in your head? Walk me through it. Her chin lifted. She liked that. Laurel loves walking people through things, especially when she's the one holding the clicker. First, she said, I think you should take a little space. Not like a separation. We don't have to label it. More like you go stay at Mara's or get an Airbnb for a little while, and we cool down, and we just take the heat out of this situation so nobody does anything they regret. You want me out of the house? I said. For a couple weeks, she said quickly, just to reset, and then we can talk about what we want long-term when we're not in this crazy emotional moment. Right now, you're too charged. Charged, meaning volatile, meaning dangerous, meaning something she could say later to a judge. And while I'm gone, I said, you'll be here with Tyler. She rolled her eyes so hard I could hear it. Oh my God, she said. You are so insecure. Do you hear yourself? Do you even hear how you sound? Yes, I said. I actually do. I sound like a husband who was told by his wife, over guacamole, that she still sleeps with another man, and I'm supposed to be evolved about it. We are poly-adjacent, she said. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It just came out. Poly-adjacent, I said. Are you serious right now? It's 2025, Ethan, she snapped. You can't keep acting like you own me. I don't own you, I said. I just didn't know I was leasing. She slammed her hand on the counter. See, she said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You go petty. You go passive-aggressive. You won't have an adult conversation, you just jab. Do you have any idea how hard it is to try to build something real with someone who refuses to evolve? I think I do now, I said. Her nostrils flared. Ethan, she said, voice low, if you can't do this calm, I'm going to have to put some things on record. Do you understand me? I'm going to have to protect myself. Record. Protect myself. My wife, in my kitchen, barefoot in a red dress with a tequila buzz, was telling me that if I didn't move out quietly and let her keep the house and the sympathy, she was going to start leaving a trail. I should have been devastated. Instead, I was taking inventory. Here's what I clocked, standing there in our bright white kitchen with the under-cabinet lights giving Laurel that soft halo she always loved in Instagram pictures. 1. Laurel had already talked to a lawyer. You do not say put on record your first night thinking about leaving. That's not how brains work. That is how strategy works. 2. She had said therapist this morning. That means she booked therapy before she brought me to that bar. Meaning she knew what she was going to do at that bar before we left the house tonight. Meaning she didn't accidentally run into Tyler. Meaning the whole thing was staged. 3. She said, I'm going to have to protect myself. Not, I'm scared of you. Not, I feel unsafe. She didn't say it like fear. She said it like paperwork. Legal phrasing. Phrases that play well in HR meetings and affidavits. She was laying narrative pipe. My jealous husband is unstable. He is emotionally aggressive. I had to ask him to leave for my safety. And she wanted witnesses. That was the moment I understood what game she was playing. It was not Tyler. Tyler was not the prize. Tyler was the tripod she was mounting her new camera on. The real play was reputation. Laurel wanted to walk out of this marriage as the sympathetic heroine who endured a controlling partner and bravely reclaimed her truth. She wanted the house. She wanted our friends. She wanted the hospital board to pat her hand and tell her how strong she was. She wanted to be the wounded phoenix. She wanted me to be the ash, and she thought I was going to hand her all of that because I'm the calm one. I smiled. Okay, I said. Laurel blinked. Okay, she said. Okay, I said again. You're right. I don't want to fight. This is stupid. We're both raw. We can talk tomorrow like adults. It's late. I'm tired. You're hydrated. She squinted. Are you being sarcastic? She said. Not at all, I said. For the first time that night, Her shoulders relaxed. She thought she had won. Laurel is a chess player who celebrates after she moves her bishop and before I move my rook. That is her flaw. She thinks, because she sees step 2, there is no step 3. Thank you, she said. She reached out and touched my wrist, soft, patronizing. See, this is all I wanted. This is all I have ever wanted, just to be heard. I nodded. You want honesty? I said. I'll give you honesty, since we're being mature. Her smile widened. Yes, she said. Please, let's be honest. So I leaned in, real close, and I said in her ear, so soft she had to lean in to hear me. Tyler's car won't start tomorrow, I said. She went still. What did you do? She whispered. I smiled. You wanted honesty, I said. There it is. Thursday, 4:10 p.m. I was heading back from a job site on Mill Road. We're redoing an old cannery into office lofts for some insurance firm that wants exposed brick and Edison bulbs because people still think that means authenticity. I had the company F-150, ladder rack rattling, thermos rolling around on the passenger side floor. In my rear view, headlights too close. At first I chalked it up to some teenager glued to his phone. Then I took a right at an orange light and they took a right at a red to stay with me. Little white sedan, too clean. Front bumper too low. It wasn't a cop. It wasn't a delivery van. It wasn't random. I smiled. Step 3. I drove past my normal turn and instead cut down Harbor Industrial, where the old warehouses sit waiting for either renovation or rot. Our firm is in the middle of gutting Building C. No cameras up yet. No drywall on the inside. Just studs and echo and a porta-john that smells like something crawled in and gave up. The sedan followed. Headlights swept over cracked concrete and piles of pallet wood. The car stopped about 15 feet behind me. Engine still on. Doors opened. Tyler climbed out of the passenger side. Behind the wheel was a guy in his 20s with a shaved head and a neck vein pumping like a garden hose. One of Tyler's gym buddies. He had on a cut-off tank and fingerless gloves like we were in a movie. "Get out of the truck, man!" Tyler yelled. His voice bounced weird in the hollow building, made him sound smaller, not bigger. I opened my door slow. I slid down. I stretched my back like I'd been in the truck for 6 hours. I did not look scared. I looked tired. That matters. "Afternoon," I said. "You think you're funny, you little freak?" Tyler snapped. "You think you're some kind of gangster coming to my home, touching my car, putting your hands on me?" "Yes," I said. "I think I'm hilarious." The shaved head guy puffed up and took a step like he was going to charge. I didn't move. I didn't square up. I just reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out the contractor flashlight I keep on me because half the places I work don't have power yet, and I'm not breaking my neck on rebar for a company that pays me in Dunkin' gift cards at Christmas. It's a $20 flashlight from the hardware store. It fits in your hand. It's bright enough to fry retinas on a sunny day. I clicked it on and hit shaved head kid right in the eyes. He yelled and threw his hands up. "Yo, what the—" Tyler flinched, blinded for a second himself. "I am not fighting you," I said, calm voice. "Listen carefully. I am going to say this once, and then I am going to record you saying it, and then I am going to leave. If you follow me again, I am driving straight to the police station and filing a report. I will show them the video of you saying you followed me. I will show them the video of you promising not to. And then I will hand them a neat little folder of the noise complaints from your building that I already pulled from the public records portal, Tyler, because guess what? You are not special. You are just loud." Tyler squinted, blinking spots. "You don't scare me, dude," he said, voice wobbling. You're soft. You're a pencil pusher in a Home Depot vest." "I'm the guy," I said, "who knows where the weak bolts are." He swallowed. Shaved head kid rubbed his eyes, cursing under his breath. "Here's what's going to happen now," I said. I stepped in fast, grabbed a fistful of Tyler's hoodie at the collar, and spun him so his back hit one of the cold steel support columns. Not hard enough to bruise, just hard enough to knock all the air out of him. His mouth made a little fish. "Oh. You follow me again," I said in his ear, "and I walk you into a police station myself and tell them you threatened me. And you know what's funny about that? They are not going to laugh at me, Tyler. You want to know why? Because you are already on their radar, my guy. Detective Riley has had your name in his teeth for months because of your little midnight motivational speeches in the parking lot. You are a complaint with abs. They are waiting for an excuse. Do not give them one. I swear to God I will gift wrap you and hand deliver." "Get off me," he rasped. This is the part where some men lose it, where old pride takes the wheel and you start hitting, and then somebody is bleeding, and then it's not a game anymore. I didn't do that. I let go. I stepped back. He stumbled, caught his balance, tried to puff up again, failed. "Keys," I said. He blinked. "What?" he croaked. "Keys," I repeated. His hand went to his pocket on instinct. I reached out, fast, grabbed his wrist, twisted, and popped his key fob free before he even registered what I was doing. Not a movie move, just speed and leverage. He wasn't ready. "Hey!" he yelled. I turned, walked to the big green construction dumpster we had on site, and dropped his keys in. They hit with a hollow clank and disappeared into drywall scraps and coffee cups. Tyler made a sound like somebody stepped on a puppy. "You psycho!" he squeaked. "You can't do that. You can't just—" "You said we needed boundaries," I said. "These are boundaries." "No, you won't," I said. "Oh yeah?" he said, trying to get his swagger back. "Yeah? You think I won't? You think I won't end you right here?" "Ty," I said softly, and his head jerked at the nickname. "If you even scratch me in here, your little buddy's fingerprints and shoe prints are now all over an active renovation site. You know what that means. You know how that headline sounds on Facebook, champ?" He swallowed. Shaved head kid, still blinking, muttered, "Dude, let's go. This guy's weird." I pulled my phone back out. "One more time, Tyler," I said, "for the file. I need you to say I will not come near Ethan's house again." "I am not saying that," he snarled. "Tyler," I said, "say it, now." He looked at me. He looked at his friend. He looked at the dumpster where his keys had just vanished. He looked at the wide open shell of the building, at the gray fall light, at the dust hanging in the air like ash. Finally, through clenched teeth, he said, "I will not come near Ethan's house again." "Thank you," I said. He spit at the floor near my boot. Missed. "And just so you know," he said, voice shaking with hate, "Laurel told me everything. She told me how you act at home. She told me how you follow her around and accuse her of sleeping with everybody. She told me how you scream. She's already talked to a lawyer. She's already talked to work. You're done, dude. She's gonna have everybody on her side by the weekend. You're nothing. You're just the jealous ex-husband who couldn't handle a real woman. You get that, right? You're the bad guy in this story. You're the problem. She is the survivor. That's the move. That's the headline. That's how this ends." There it was. Clean. Laurel's pitch. Word for word. She's the survivor. I'm the problem. Tyler said it like it was already printed. I felt something go still inside me. "Thank you," I said. He frowned. "For what?" he spat. "For confirming," I said. Then I turned and walked back to my truck. Behind me, Tyler tried to lunge one more time, but in his rage, he caught his foot on a piece of rebar sticking out of a slab and went down face first onto the concrete. The sound he made was wet and shocked. Shaved head kid yelped, "Dude," and bent down to help him up. I didn't look back. That was step 4. We were in the hotel parking loop, under those bright white event lights they use to make photos look clean. The jazz trio was still playing inside. The lobby buzz had shifted from polite networking to low-grade scandal. You could feel it. The story had already started growing legs. Laurel cornered me by my truck. "You need to fix this," she said. Her voice had dropped the PR polish. It was just raw now. "You need to fix this right now. Do you understand me, Ethan? You need to walk back in there and tell them you're having a mental health episode. You need to apologize to me in front of them. You need to say you're sorry for slandering me and making up lies because you can't handle me moving on. You need to cry. Crying would help. If you cry, they'll forgive you. If you play the sad, left-behind husband card, they won't blacklist you. They'll say, 'Poor Ethan,' and give you casseroles. You can live off casseroles for a year in this town if you play it right. I'm literally handing you your out. Take it." "An out," I said. "Yes," she hissed. "No," I said. "Ethan," she whispered. Her eyes were wide, shining wet in the parking lot lights. Not soft, cornered. "Please, please, I'm begging you. You cannot do this to me. You cannot make me look like this in front of these people. You don't understand. You don't get it. If this sticks, I'm done here. I'm finished. I'll have to leave. I'll have to start over somewhere else. Do you get that? Do you understand what you're doing to me?" "Yes," I said. "You are ruining my life," she said. "No," I said. "I'm showing people the life you already live. There's a difference." "I didn't do anything wrong," she breathed. I laughed. "Laurel," I said, "come on. It's not like I murdered you. People cheat, people separate, people evolve. I am allowed to be happy. I am allowed to feel desired. I am allowed to choose passion over comfort. That doesn't make me a villain. That makes me honest." "You are not honest," I said. "I am," she spat. "You are calculated," I said. "You are strategic. You are cruel. You are not honest. Honest is what you pretended last night when you told me you still sleep with Tyler. That was not honesty, Laurel. That was theater. You were building a case. You were putting words in my mouth. You were trying to get tape. You were rehearsing lines like, 'I'm scared,' and 'he's abusive,' and 'I need witnesses so you could walk out of this marriage with the house and the friends and the sympathy.' You were not being honest. You were setting me on fire in slow motion and calling it healing." "Stop," she whispered. "You want honest," I said. "Here's honest." I stepped one step closer. Not touching her. Not blocking her. Just close enough that only she could hear me. "You told me last night that the bruise on your neck was from Pilates," I said. "You said your trainer adjusted you too hard. You said it like I was supposed to laugh and call you a liar. You were playing cute. You wanted me to beg. You wanted me to break. You wanted me to explode so you could point and say, 'See? See how jealous and controlling he is. He's freaking out over a bruise from Pilates. You forgot one thing.'" Her lips parted. Her eyes went flat and wide. I leaned in. "Tyler is right-handed," I whispered. "That bruise was on your left side." Her breath caught in her throat like a fishhook. Her cheeks went pale. And in that instant, that half-second where my wife realized I saw her all the way down, past every glossy layer she ever painted, whatever was holding her together snapped. Laurel didn't scream. She didn't swing. She didn't sob. She just deflated. Her shoulders dropped. Her jaw slackened. Her eyes went cold, like something inside her had been unplugged. Tyler saw it. He'd been standing 10 feet away, hovering like muscle, face swollen, trying to look hard. He saw Laurel go slack, and his whole posture changed. You could watch it in real time. He went from hero mode to oh no. He took a step toward her, hand out. "Babe," he said, "you okay? Hey, you all right?" Laurel looked at him like he was a loose bag of trash someone left by the curb. "Do not call me babe," she said. Just like that. No heat, no scream, just surgical. Tyler blinked. "What?" he said. "Do not," she repeated. "Call me babe." Tyler's mouth opened, closed, opened. He looked like somebody just pulled his batteries. "Hey!" he snapped finally, turning on me because that's easier than looking at the truth in front of you. "Hey man, you need to back off. You hear me? You don't talk to her like that. You don't get to manipulate her and gaslight her like that in public just because you're mad she doesn't want you anymore. You think this makes you look strong? You think this makes you look like a man? You look pathetic, bro. You look like a sad little guy who can't handle his girl choosing a real man. You look. I didn't hit him. I didn't even touch him. I walked right past Laurel, closed the distance between me and Tyler, reached for the hood of his white BMW, grabbed a handful of that soft, perfect, carefully waxed paint with my work-rough hand, and dragged him forward by the back of his hoodie so fast his feet scrambled on the asphalt. He squawked and windmilled. Yo, what the? I spun him so his back hit his own car. His gym bag was sitting in the open trunk from when he'd tried to play hero and rushed in here like a knight in skinny jeans. I grabbed it, unzipped it, and dumped it. Resistance bands, shaker bottles, half-empty pre-workout tubs, extra shirts, a spray deodorant, a ring light attachment, a tripod, and a stupid Bluetooth speaker spilled out across the oil-stained pavement. Some of it rolled straight into a puddle under the parking lot lights. Tyler yelled like I had cut off his arm. "What are you doing, dude?" he shrieked, scrambling to grab stuff, slipping on one of his own resistance bands. "What the hell, man? You can't touch my gear. Are you crazy?" "Listen to me," I said, calm. My voice didn't rise above normal conversation level. "Listen very, very carefully." He froze. He was breathing hard. His face was red and swollen. His eyes were glassy. He looked less like a threat than I had ever seen him. He looked like a mascot that had been through a washer cycle. "You do not come near me again," I said. "You do not follow my truck. You do not show up at my job. You do not come within 50 feet of my house. You do not text Laurel while you're physically in my town. You do not drive past my address. You do not breathe in my direction. Do you understand me?" "Man, you can't tell me where to breathe," he spat, but his voice wobbled. "I can, and I am," I said. "Because here's what's going to happen if you do. I will take that little video of you promising not to come near my house, and I will send it to every single woman whose name I can find on your client roster with a note that says, 'Just so you know, this is how your coach talks when he thinks you're not listening. He calls you high-drive females and brag material. He makes married women sit on his lap at 11:30 on a Wednesday and then follows their husbands to job sites to start fights. I will send it to your landlord. I will send it to the HOA. I will send it to your mom if I can find her Facebook. I will not stop. I will salt the earth. You will not sell one more package of 6 sessions and a personalized meal plan in this town. You will be done. Do you hear me?" Tyler's mouth opened and closed. Rage fought panic in his eyes, and panic was winning. "You can't do that," he said finally, weak. "I already did worse tonight," I said. His lip curled. He looked like he wanted to spit at me. He didn't. He looked at Laurel. She wasn't looking at him. She was looking at me. Not with love, not with hate. With something that used to be respect and was now something colder, sharper, uglier than that. I'd never seen that look on her before. It was like she had finally registered what I was. Not safe, not comfortable, not her Volvo, a problem. A problem she couldn't solve with a spin. You can't talk to me like this in front of donors," she whispered. "I'm not talking to you," I said. "I'm talking to him." "You're ruining everything," she breathed. "I'm ending it," I said. Blue flicker washed across the parking lot. I turned. 2 cruisers had pulled in at the mouth of the loop. Lights on, no sirens. Riley was already on his radio, lazy, like this was just Thursday night cleanup. One of the uniforms stepped out, hand on his belt, eyes up, scanning, calm, bored, standard. This is where most stories would do the tidy wrap-up. This is where I'd tell you we all went home and I slept like a baby, and Laurel cried, and Tyler learned a hard lesson about humility, and everybody clapped. That's not what happened. What happened is this. Riley walked over, slow, hands low, cop calm. He looked at me, then at Laurel, then at Tyler kneeling in oil and glass and protein powder trying to scoop his life back into a soggy duffel. He sighed. "Ethan," he said, "you about done here, bud?" "Yeah," I said. "Good," he said. "Because if I have to write this up, I'm going to miss the end of the Bruins game, and then I'm going to be in a mood, and you're going to feel that in your soul the next time your truck's inspection sticker is a day overdue. Copy." "Copy," I said. Laurel stared at Riley like she couldn't believe he wasn't arresting me on sight. "Officer," she said, voice trembling like a plucked string, "I need to make a statement. My husband is—" Riley held up a hand without even looking at her. Not rude. Dismissive. Small-town cop dismissive. "Laurel," he said, "it's been a long night. Go home." Her mouth opened, closed. Tyler sputtered, "He assaulted me, man. He literally—" Riley didn't even look at him. "Go home, Tyler," he said. Tyler made a high whine in his throat. "This is harassment," he said. "This is literally harassment, dude. I have rights." "You also have a noise complaint stack taller than my kid," Riley said. "Want me to bring those up right now, or you want to grab your little shaker cup and get in the car?" Tyler shut up. Laurel swallowed. "This isn't fair," she whispered. "This isn't how this was supposed to go." And there it was. The line. Not "this isn't right." Not "this isn't true." This isn't fair. This isn't how this was supposed to go. It was never about love. It was never about happiness or honesty or any of the words she used like props. It was about the ending she had planned for herself. Laurel, brave survivor of a jealous, controlling husband. Tyler, loyal protector. Ethan, sad, unstable, disposable. And here we were instead. Laurel, screaming in a hotel hallway in front of donors, her mask cracked, her job bleeding out on the carpet. Tyler, kneeling in a puddle, face swollen, picking protein bars out of glass shards while a cop told him to go home. Ethan, standing calm under parking lot lights with 2 cops watching and nobody calling me dangerous. "Look at me," I said to Laurel. She did. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't touch her. I didn't do anything anybody could ever call threatening. I just spoke. "You tried to bury me in the dark," I said. "So I turned the floodlights on. That's all this is. You don't get to write me as the villain and walk away clean while you keep the house and your little halo. You don't get to call me abusive because I don't want you rubbing up on another guy in front of me at a bar. You don't get to call me unstable because I don't smile while you brag about his stamina. You don't get to make me the monster so you can be the hero. I am not your villain. I am the man who outlived you." She stared at me. Her mouth trembled. Her eyes filled. For 1 second I saw the Laurel I married. 28, sun on her face in our first apartment kitchen, bare feet on cheap linoleum, laughing at nothing, looking at me like I was her favorite person. Then it was gone. Riley cleared his throat. "All right," he said. "Everybody's going to their respective corners now. Ethan, you heading home." "Yeah," I said. Laurel's mouth opened. "No," she said. "No, he is not. He is not coming back to my house. He can't. I won't allow it. I feel unsafe." Riley looked at her. "Laurel," he said, "if you want to file for an order, you can do that first thing in the morning down at the courthouse. Right now, tonight. Unless something happened that requires me to remove him, which I did not see, I'm not telling a man he can't go to his own address. That is not how that works." Her face twisted. "So he just gets to walk away and pretend he's some kind of hero," she hissed. "I'm not pretending anything," I said. I turned. I took 1 step, then another, and another. Tyler was still on his knees, scooping his stuff back into his ruined bag with shaking hands, his jaw clenched tight like he was holding in rage and tears at the same time. His car door was crusted with drying foam. His shirt was stained. His face was swollen. Laurel was standing under the hospital's rented event lights, hair perfect, lipstick perfect, dress perfect, life in shards at her feet. The cruisers washed the parking lot in blue. I didn't run. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just walked toward the lights, hands empty, breathing even, for the first time in days not feeling like I was about to come apart. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't touch her. I didn't have to.